William I. Robinson here. So you got a DEXA scan. What's next? In this next video, I'm going to show you how to prompt AI with your DEXA scan to make your own meal plan. Alrighty, so now that we've gotten our DEXA scan interpreted, we've looked at all the numbers, we know where we're at. Now I'm going to show you guys how I would prompt AI to make a meal plan to address the goals, because that's basically, we have goals now that we need to specifically address, and the meal plan is the first thing that we need to address. Now, we get your resting metabolic rate, but we don't get your total energy expenditure, which is resting metabolic rate times your activity level, and that gives us how many calories that your body needs to maintain your lifestyle. And that's where we go as far as making a meal plan. So we're going to prompt AI, and then you want to prompt it and then give it your activity level. So here we go. So I have a 37-year-old female who we just got a DEXA scan, and we would like to make a healthy meal plan. She is 121 pounds, has a 30.6% body fat, and has a resting metabolic rate of 1,182. Her activity level is, she does not do any labor, she doesn't do any active walking, like she doesn't deliver stuff, but she does have, she is a mother, and she works out 3 to 4 days a week with light to moderate exercises. So if you could figure out our total energy expenditure from there. We would also like for her goal to gain lean mass, but since she's been eating a lower calorie diet, we would like to start off with her maintenance calories. Her schedule is, she wakes up at 6:30 a.m., she works out at 10 a.m., and she goes to bed at 10 p.m. She has no food allergies. She does not like eating fish. She likes fruits, vegetables. She likes ground turkey, chicken. She likes eating eggs. She likes salad. She likes quinoa. She also does want to incorporate more sweet potato into her diet. We want to follow the guidelines of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And if you could put that in finalized form. Alrighty, so that is it. So now we gave it the AI to create a good meal plan. It needs to know about you. It needs to know your weight, your body fat percentage. It needs to know your goals. So we're trying to put on muscle, but since she's been eating a lower amount of calorie, we don't want to go on a gain. We don't want her to go too high of calories. So typically, if you've been a low calorie diet person and you're trying to gain mass, you want to go from your low calories and slowly bump them up to your maintenance. And that's something when I email her, I'll let her know that. So start off at your maintenance. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And and then it needs to know your metabolic rate plus your activity level. It needs to know your schedule. And then it needs to know if you have any medical illnesses, any food allergies. And you could give it food preferences. Food preferences is where you could get really creative. You could tell it like, these are the foods I have in my house, make me a meal plan, and then add in the other foods I need to make it balanced. And then you want to give it guidelines. The guidelines I like to use is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Those are the guidelines that the most popular and the most memberships of dietitians in North America. So that's what they prescribe to. You could also use, if you have heart condition, the American Heart Association guidelines. If you have cancer, you could use the American Cancer Association guidelines. You could use the American Diabetic Association guidelines. There's a lot of organizations that have guidelines, and what that means, so when you give the AI guidelines, that is its, let's say, those are the rules it's going to use when it is making that meal plan. So it's not going to do a bunch of Google search and internet and see what's trendy and what's hot. It's going to use what those guidelines are, and it's going to be using the most current research for that specific organization. So let's go ahead and take a look here at this meal plan. And you could always go in and edit this, and you could ask it to you could ask it to make multiple meal plans. I suggest making one meal plan at a time. and then edit it there for your preference, and then make another one after that, and then you can actually have it make you a grocery shopping list after that as well. So I will look at this. I'll tell you suggestions I would make to make it more realistic, because sometimes when you're working with AI initially, this conversation, I've been doing meal plans for a while, so it's kind of already locked in. But when you first start working with AI, it may not be very locked in. It may give you a meal plan that's not very, manageable. You just edit it from there. So it makes sure this is all right. So it is saying her total energy expenditure is 1,700 calories. So that's what it's recommending. So that's what I'm going to make her. But when I message her and I call her, we might start off, because let's say she's only been eating 1,200 calories roughly, or 1,300 calories. Then what I would recommend hers are starting at 1,400 and then moving up slowly from there. And that is kind of where we're at. So this puts her in the low. I think when she was here, I was talking about her starting off on sedentary, because initially she wasn't working as much, and she wasn't working out as consistent. And you got to remember that if you just started a workout routine, that is not your activity level. You want to go with what you've been doing for the past 2-3 months, not what you're going to do. Because what you're going to do is not who you are now. It takes your body a little bit to get into that new metabolic rate and new activity level. It's like if I stopped working out, I wouldn't automatically get out of shape. It would take me a few months to start losing all that I worked for. So here we go. So there we go. I agree here. It put her schedule. Let me look at the timing. So it put her breakfast at 7:30. Break her workout at 10, snack at post-workout snack at 11. So I would change that. So I would not have breakfast at 7:30, then a snack at 9:30. I would just have breakfast at 7:30, workout at 10, then her post-workout snack at 11:30. I would switch that. And I don't like how it has lunch here at 12:30. So there's a lot. You can see it's trying to maintain, it's trying to do stuff. It's trying to keep the meals every 2 to 4 hours. It's trying to make sure you have a pre-workout snack, a post-workout snack. But sometimes AI gets confused and they put it all in there and they don't kind of back up off of that. So here's what I'm going to do. Without even reading the rest, I'm just going to prompt it like this. All right, so what we need to do is fix that. So I don't like how there's a pre-workout snack, a post-workout snack, lunch, dinner. A lot of those meals are too close. So we're going to have the breakfast at 7:30, and then we're going to work out, and then we're going to have a lunch after her post-workout, her workout. So it's a post-workout. It's going to be lunch. We'll have that at 12. Because she's going to be working out for an hour to hour and a half, and that gives her time to travel, get her kids, whatever she needs to do, come home, eat, and then we'll do a snack at 3, and then dinner at 6. All right, and that's one thing, when you get a meal plan from AI, just know it's going off of all the research and all that, so sometimes it can, it's a work in progress, so you kind of got to work with it. If by any chance you get confused or you start making a meal plan and you don't know, like, that seems too much, it seems like too many meals, message me. I have no problem helping you through that. Show me what you got. I'll make the changes with you. As long as I see that you're doing it and you have all the information down, this stuff is simple. Let's see here. And if she eats lunch at 11, that's not a big difference, right? Like that will be fine. You don't have to follow these timelines exactly, but she does need to have a breakfast around that time. She does need to have a lunch. You need to fuel the body. 1770 is the target. It's going over the macros here. So we have 27% of protein, carbs, 50%. Fat, 25. The macros add up. They're a little bit over because they for general guess rounding and stuff like that. So that's really on. Fiber is what you always ask for. The fiber content. It's great. Minimal fiber for female, 25. I love this at 35 for her. She's still a more small, petite female. Let's see what we got for breakfast here. Love it. 2 eggs, quinoa, mixed veggies. She could switch the quinoa there if she wanted to switch it for another starch. So just think when you're on here, you could switch starches for starches, fats for fats. You know, like right here, she wanted to have more avocado. She could put half the avocado and take out the olive oil, or you know, you could switch stuff around because basically those are fats. But right there, that looks pretty good. Let's look at lunch. We got some ground turkey, mixed greens, some more quinoa. So I see what it's doing. Since I mentioned quinoa, it's putting overly, so sometimes it could do that. So what we could do here, I like how it has that. Let's see here. So then at 3, the snack, it has a half a cup of sweet potato with 3 cups cottage cheese, some mixed berries, some chia. I would substitute the sweet potato for some granola. It makes more sense. You could substitute the low-fat cottage cheese for some Greek yogurt, flavored Greek yogurt. I think that would be more palatable, be more enjoyable. But she could keep this as well. But you can see how I'm suggesting those changes right there. In the morning, you can put sourdough toast instead of the quinoa because her fiber levels are already met. You could also put like a wrap. You can make like a breakfast wrap with that. And dinner, we have chicken breast, sweet potato. So yeah, as you can see, what it's doing is when I suggested it certain foods, it used only those foods, and then it added other things to make sure the macros were hit, like the chia seeds, olive oil, it hit stuff like that to make sure it has the right amount of good fat stuff. So this looks really good. Like I said, I would just change. Alrighty, so now it's just looking at the guidelines here. So you can see you could ask it for tips, you could ask it for suggestions. So this one, I've been working on this one, so it lets us know. So it's following the Academy, the A&D, this is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics guidelines. So this is good. So just make sure if you're making edits and adjustments that you're still following the suggested guidelines, or your meal plan could get off. It could get malnourishing. It could be too filled with protein. It could get not enough fiber. You could get your fat too low. So this is based off of a healthy meal plan. These are the guidelines we would work with athletes, people that are healthy, all your general population, proper meal timing, calories, muscle gain. This is, you know, high in protein. The benefits of substituting. Look, you got to start tracking, start journaling. What you could do is journal your food, write what you could journal what you're doing, your portion sizes, and then at the end of the day, just type what you put in, just talk to text into Grok, and it will calculate it out for you and give you an estimation. But I always say you should go through a moment in a time of your life where you're counting calories and learning how to do that. Because it's what we eat, and we eat the same things over and over. So what's going to happen is you're going to get used, you're going to know the calories and the nutritional value of the stuff you eat. Like if I was to take you right now to the grocery store, you're probably going to buy the same thing you've been buying for years, if not decades. So like I said, we get into patterns, and when you start measuring your food out, you can eyeball it after a while, so you're not consistently doing it. And when you get off a little sloppy, then you just maybe weigh it again or track it. Okay, that is it. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next clip. All right, that was fun doing that meal plan. I hope you guys seen how versatile that was. I made a couple suggestions on there with you. I was able to prompt off for information. You've seen step by step what you needed. You needed, like, you know, the schedule, food preference, the total energy expenditure. So I hope that helps you guys create a personalized meal plan for you and your goal. And what I always like to do is offer my help. If you feel you need help, whatever it is, message me, call me, and I will make sure I get back to you and help get you fast-tracked on your journey to healthier and fitter you. All right, guys, see you in the next videos.